Stealing stories. Did you steal my story?
All right, and welcome back to another episode of Steal My Story, the podcast where we bring on a guest to tell one true story and one stolen story. I'm your host, Alexa Steele. Haha, get it, it's my last name, you know. And my co-host, Ian Fisher, and we have a special guest today on, Tenaj Williams.
It's so good to see you. It's been so long.
It's been so long. In case any of you didn't know, Tanaj was on Jann with me. Oh, CTV Jann. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Such an amazing
Still
project.
on Crave too, I think.
Still on Crave.
Still on
Crave and Hulu in the States.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
And Tanaj has just moved to Toronto because he is in the ensemble cast for The Lion King, the musical. Woo! Get
I
your
saw
tickets.
that once upon a time when
Me
I was
too.
like because it's been on for what? How long? 25, 30
It
years?
is the longest, not the longest running musical, but the biggest musical in the world. And I think it was since 1997.
Wow.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
many people have seen it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Lots of people have. Lots of people have seen it or have an experience with it.
Yeah,
the version
for
of it,
sure.
yeah.
I think that's why it sells so well, is because everybody is familiar with The Lion King.
For sure.
And to me, the movie only gets better the older you get.
Oh,
Do you
for
know what
sure.
I
I
mean?
still cry all the time.
Absolutely. I cry more now. Because I'm like, I actually get it as like an adult. First of all, the jokes are funnier because they have
yeah.
some jokes that for sure go over kids' heads.
For sure, just for the adults watching.
Exactly. And it's like, the movie only gets better. I just rewatched it before rehearsal started.
Oh.
And I was like, this movie's great.
So good.
It's so
my
good.
gosh.
They don't make them like Lion King anymore.
They don't. It was such, and yeah, they don't do that anymore where they make jokes for the adults now. I know
Yeah.
that in cartoons, I feel like it's very just like for the kids,
Yeah.
which is too bad because I was like, I feel, you know, you're watching these shows with your kids if you're a parent, and then you get to like hear like a dirty joke.
And then the kids are like, what's so
What do
funny?
you mean?
Which
Nothing,
is like
nothing.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want.
Exactly.
Do you
what
remember in Hercules, the Disney Hercules, right?
Yes.
It might not even
Yeah.
be Disney,
So
but it's
good.
like...
It is Disney. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's jokes in there, like I remember the indoor plumbing, it's gonna be big.
Big.
And as a kid, I'm like not getting that at
Not
all.
a-
Just think
Yeah.
it's a funny voice. And when you're an adult, you're like, amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
That is so funny. Hercules is another like really, really good.
And some jams, some songs.
Yes.
Throw that on at the gym.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The muses.
Almost anywhere to feel like I belong.
Yeah,
So good.
Totally.
Amazing.
And the muses, in my opinion, are the best one.
Oh my gosh.
How do you mean, Hercules? I tell you, it's the best. It's one of the good ones.
It is one of the good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Was Beyonce not, or was she not one of the muses? Or am
She
I
was
crazy?
no, she wasn't. But she
No.
was in the Lion King.
That's what I'm thinking.
Remake,
The new one,
Remake.
yeah.
Yeah.
which
that-
people didn't love, but I loved it.
I loved it too.
Honestly, I loved it.
I loved it.
I was like, the people I think said like, you can't. The lions aren't expressive enough in their faces
Like,
or whatever.
yeah,
But I
they're
was
lions.
like, they're lions.
I'm
Exactly.
like, I don't want like the lion to look too cartoonish. That's weird.
because then I'll just go to the cartoon.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what happened in Cats, and I feel like it was weird.
Cats is not a savable musical,
No,
in my
it
opinion.
was-
There's nothing you can do.
You
To
can't make it
revamp
into
that.
a movie.
And I think I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but like Cats, it's
Okay,
It's
I
a
don't think
crazy
anybody
concept.
loved the movie.
I'm a cat stan.
No
Perfect
way.
movie. Taylor Swift was great in it. Everything was perfect. No, actually, I haven't even seen it. Yeah.
So I was like, oh no. There's always
It's
one.
sponsored by Cats today. Brought to you by a movie
Brought to
from
you by
7 years
Cats.
ago.
There's always one. There's always somebody
Yeah.
that's like, Cats is my life, and I'm like, it tells me a lot about you.
I think I saw it when I was a kid, but you know what? I don't remember.
I don't think
that
I've ever
much.
finished it. Like every time I started, I'm always like, I'm not prepared for this. Whatever this is,
I can't get on board.
I'm not buying it.
I definitely sang like one of the songs my music teacher always made me sing.
Memory. Always memory. It's always memory.
Memory.
That song's good. That song's
It's
great.
a great song.
That song's great.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I would love to get into the stories today because you kind of hinted at some of the stories. I won't spoil it. But I'm so excited. Before we get into the stories, do you think you're a good liar? You are an actor, so I feel like you could be a very good liar. Do you... This is like a trick question.
It is such an interesting question because like my first thought to it was like a crazy response was I'm like, lying is subjective, which I'm like, part of me feels like that makes you a great liar
Or a psychopath.
Like a psychopath. I'm like, that's a
I've
terrible
always
thing to say.
lied.
I'm like, lying is just twisting the truth, which is factual. I don't know if I'm a good liar. We'll find out. Like
Ooh, we're
part of
gonna
me
know.
said like you'll be like, absolutely not. That this is Absolutely not.
Your friends are watching this, and they're like, he's a good liar.
Like, you should have figured this out quick. If his mouth is moving, you should
He's
have figured
lying.
it out.
His mouth is moving, he's lying. I feel like you're kind of a bad liar, which is good because like when you like, but you do like little white lies that you like then build a tunnel. Like,
Oh my gosh, I do. I do some like, sometimes I'll get nervous that somebody's going to be mad at me, so I'll do a white lie, and then I have to keep lying, and then like it just builds this whole lie, this whole story.
Yeah.
So sorry to anybody that's ever happened to. You don't know what's happened to you.
yeah, we'll
probably.
be driving somewhere, and then she's like, "Oh, before we get here, by the way, just say we were at a kid's birthday before this." And it's like, what's happening?
Everybody does those.
Everybody does that,
Everybody
right?
does those.
Okay.
I do remember a point in my life, like I really feel like it was junior high, where I said to myself, "You need to stop, like just tell the truth all the time." Not that I was like this pathological liar that was like going around making up with stories, but it was like little white lies and things that I was like, that isn't the full truth. Like, and I kind of caught myself on it.
Good for you.
And I remember trying to be like, just stop and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I do that now.
Yeah,
But like,
not me. I
certain
wish I
things are
had
hard.
your awakening.
certain
but I
things are
didn't.
hard. Like, because you're like, I don't need to hurt your feelings, but like sometimes you're like, I don't want to do that.
I loved cats. I loved that. I like you
Let's
guys.
hear that lie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, but you're right because when you're telling the truth, you don't have to remember as much. When you've got 15
Yeah.
lies juggling, like you can.
Okay, all right, I get it.
This isn't an intervention.
Jeez. I'll stop lying.
Hey.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Okay.
All right, my stories. My first story that I wanted to tell you about was actually my experience with The Lion King and how I came to The Lion King and my audition experience, because it was kind of crazy and surprisingly difficult. I've been a Lion King stan for a long time. Love this show. Feel like there's a lot of like personal things in
Like the
for me.
musical, not just the movie.
Both. Like I've never,
yeah.
I hadn't seen the musical at that point, but like when I watched the movie, there's something about it that really spoke to me and like was really. It still does. It still does.
Yeah,
like there's
absolutely.
there's something about it that's so magical to me. So then when it was about probably 10 years ago, maybe or so, maybe just a little bit more, that it was coming through Broadway across Canada, and the play was coming, and I had just started doing plays and stuff like that. And my friends were like, "Do you guys want to go to see The Lion King?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, let's go to see The Lion King." And I deliberately booked tickets by myself. Like I was like, "We'll all go, but like don't buy tickets for me. I'm just going to do this on my own."
Right,
so I bought my own seat in the middle of the auditorium by myself so that I could experience
You weren't
this for me.
sitting by your friends at all, but
No,
they were in.
They
They
had
were
bought
there.
a row of seats somewhere else.
Oh,
And I was like,
but it was all the
don't
same
worry
night.
about me. All the same night.
Okay.
We went for dinner beforehand. We went to the show, and I was like, I'll see you guys at Interrogation.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want a
But I was like,
distraction while I watch
I
this
want this to be
masterpiece.
for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to deal with whatever it is that you're doing, because if you yawn, it's going to piss me off too. So I'm like, this is going to be my experience, so I'll see you at Intermission. I went, and I cried in a way that was like embarrassing to be in public. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, where you're like,
The gasping.
you know, like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was, and I don't know if you've seen it. You said you've seen
I
it.
was quite young when I saw it. Yeah,
Yeah, so like you just know. Well, hopefully you'll come see ours. But
I love
the
to.
opening moment, I'm not going to say too much about it because I think that people should just come and see it for themselves. It's the best opening in musical theater history, period. No matter what, no ifs, ands, or buts. In my
Okay.
opinion, I was just weeping from the beginning to the end, and like I couldn't get myself. Anyways, I was such a fan after the show. I like bought this like Lion King bag. I needed a piece of the Lion King to take with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like grown at this point, you know what I mean? And I had this Lion King tote bag that I took everywhere. And it wasn't until like I had it for probably like 2-3 years that I took it everywhere with me. Until I was working on a play with a well-known director. I won't say his name.
Okay.
But he just like, I don't think he liked me. I still to this day don't think he likes me. But like, as if he's going to watch this.
He's exclusively our only view. Just
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he sat there at rehearsal one day and just like looked at me and was like, Tanaj with his Lion King bag, always with the Lion King bag. And I've never felt so small in my life. And I got rid of the bag.
No.
I don't have the bag. And that was like a very sad moment.
It's amazing, like a single thing like that, like a single
Yeah.
line can just send you down a different trajectory.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a kind of person who feels like self-conscious about that kind of stuff. But because he was such a big name director and I was working so hard to get him to like me, and he did not.
Right.
Um,
Wow, he didn't like you?
he did not.
How
You
could
would
he not
also
like you? You're
think-
so
Thank you
great.
much.
You're
That's
so
very nice.
sweet. Like,
It took me a while to realize. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, it's not about you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if
no,
you're
it's
kind
definitely
to
not.
people and you do the best you can, and they still don't like you. That's okay.
yeah,
That's not.
that's them.
That's them. You know what I mean? Still be kind to them, but like,
And everybody's
Yeah.
not going to like you. Like, I don't like you guys.
Everybody's
No, but like exactly. As soon as you stop trying to do that
Yeah.
to please everybody, it's like then more people end up liking you because you're more authentic and
Exactly,
I
and you're
love
not
that.
out here trying to make him. Anyways, I got rid of the bag. Long story short, auditions for Lion King come up, and my friends would text me being like, "You got to go to Lion King. You got to be." I've been working in theater across the country for a while now, and like, you need to do the Lion King. And I was like, I can't do the Lion King. I'm too short. I'm too this. I'm too that. You know what I mean? And my agent was the one who was like, "Well, you will be auditioning for the Lion King, so get your mind around it."
So get ready.
You know, the first dance call will be, it's an open dance call. It's going to be in like a month. So just keep your training up, go. So I was like, fine, I'll go. I flew to Toronto and I do this dance call. And it's an open call. So it's, I want to say they said 400 people.
Wow.
And they had 2 sessions. So they had a session in the morning, they had a session in the evening. And the session in the morning had 400 people in it. And then it was like the most intimidating atmosphere you could ever walk into. Like, you have people, like, there's just people everywhere, and they're stretching and they're overstretching. Like, people are putting their legs like above their head, and like,
I feel like that's showing off. You don't need to be
actually
doing
is not
that.
beneficial. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the point of stretching is to activate your muscles so that when you're ready to go, you can use them. Not like,
I feel like there's also a difference between like warming up stretching and then when you're cool. Like, that seems like you want to like anyway.
Or like when you
exhausting
see people meditating in the park or something, like in a public or meditating, like you're like in a
just
way where
showing
you're like, oh, you're not doing this for you.
No.
You're showing us
Yeah.
that you're doing this
you're
thing. Like,
intimidating the rest of us.
Exactly.
And I will be damned if this like works on me, but
Yeah.
it fully worked on me. But I was like, I've been dancing for a while, so I'm like, I know you can't, that's not going to help you.
Yeah,
You're
you're
not,
like,
like-
I have the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
Like, which they do too, but you know what I mean? They know what they're doing. I'm like, no one's going to ask you if your leg can go behind your head. Do you know what I mean? That's not possible. Anyways,
You don't need that in this
I put
musical.
my music in. I'm like, just relax.
It's the Hercules song.
It's the find my way. Yeah. So we do the combo, and basically they split the room in half, and it's like 200 people at this house, and then basically there's a dance person in front of you in 3 different sections, kind of thing. They're like, get this routine. It's not even from the show, which I was like, okay. And it's just this modern piece. And like then the rows just keep switching. So it's like, so that everyone has a chance to see like the choreographer. They run through the material maybe twice. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. But I feel like I did a pretty good job of it anyways. They cut that down to 50 people.
Wow.
And then the 50, which is huge.
Can I ask, when they like cut you, do they just say you gone, or how do
It's
they?
a number.
It's a number.
It's a number. So it's like basically like you have like a,
Number there, and they'll just be like, number 7, you're moving to the next round.
basically if you hear your number, please stay. If you don't, thank you so much for coming.
Okay.
And it's not a like, if you didn't hear your number, don't worry, we're still in contact with you. Like, if
It's
you
like,
didn't hear your
you're
number,
done.
we're never going to see you again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Ouch.
And so it's like it's a really thing. Like, you do it, the music's so loud, you do it, you get one chance to do it, and then you move on.
Yeah.
They sometimes do it twice, depending on if something went really wrong, but usually you only get one shot at it. We do it. They cut it down to 50 people. My number's called. I'm like, yes. Okay, great. Then we do this number called Kick Butt from the show. I really think you need to come see the show. It's from Be Prepared.
I want. I'm gonna.
And it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's the hardest thing that I do in the show, but it's not death. Like, it's just go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go. So they cut that down to 6 people from there.
Whoa.
6.
Is this in a single day?
Yes, and they have multiple sessions. So it's like the morning is an open call, the afternoon is an open call. Like, you saw everybody and their dog for this. Like, anyone can come too. Like, it's an open call.
Yeah.
So anyone can come. So we do it. They call 6 numbers. My number's called again, which I hope you guys know what it's like to get the part. Like, I hadn't gotten the
get
part,
the
but
call
that
back.
feeling of like, okay,
Yeah.
here we go. I'm still in consideration. They're like, okay, we're gonna take a quick lunch, get some water, hydrate, get some food. We'll be back here in an hour or whatever. So then this is where it gets crazy. I was like, these people, like, usually people know, like, you don't start talking shit until you get out the building.
Whoa. Okay.
We're going back to like where I get my bags and stuff like that, and like these people are ruthless. The people who got cut are like, this is so stupid. Like, I only came like because there's like, I honestly think it's like this weird like racist mentality where they're like, I came because there's not enough black talent in the country to be, to do the Lion King. So therefore, I thought that, they're getting mad that they're like, the only reason I got cut is because I'm white. And like saying it with their full chest as if like people are going to be like,
Whoa.
the injustice of you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like,
The injustice that white people have suffered in this country.
like, this opportunity is not for you. Wow.
Yeah.
That being said, in the group of 6 that was left, there were white people. So it was like,
So it's like you're completely wrong.
It couldn't be they weren't good enough. Couldn't be.
heaven forbid
Yeah.
you just didn't make the cut. You know what I mean? And I'm like literally listening to this being like, and people are being like, I know. This is like, they're not going to have the talent. Like realistic. I'm like, Disney's not going to be able to find the talent they need.
Yeah,
in
are you
the
nuts?
world because there's like, they need you, white guy. That I was like, this. It was, and it was like a.
We
few
look back at the
people.
footage though. It was me. I was the white guy.
Roll the footage. It was just crazy. It was crazy.
He just could not accept that he
Couldn't
was not
accept it.
good enough.
Couldn't accept it. And it was not just him. Like, there was a lot of people like that. There was just, like, a lot of bitterness, a lot of, like...
Well, there's a lot of
I
ego,
killed
right?
this.
In
Lots
any
of
arts
ego.
and dance, and so people thinking almost it was their destiny to get this. Or
Totally.
something, yeah.
And I'm like, maybe it was. But, like, the thing is, Lion King is very specific. You know what I mean? Not even saying it's the most talented always. Oftentimes it is. But it's like there's certain height requirements. There's certain... There's just, like, the show is a built show that you have to kind of fit into.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was crazy. Got back in. Finally, just kind of put my music in again. Got a little bit of food. Got some water. Got back in. 6 people, much less stressful. They're like, let's do tumbling. So we do some tumbling.
Oh.
And they singled me out. And they're like, okay, you, Tanaj. They learned my name, which I thought, that must be good.
Wow, not just the number,
Yeah,
your
no.
full name.
They're like, can you do this tumbling pass? And I was like, okay. And they're like, first of all, start with a back tuck. Can you do a back tuck? And I was like, yeah, I can. So I do it, and I kind of over-rotate. So I take 2 steps out. It's not a big deal. And he was like, oh, well, do you think maybe you could do it and stick it? Like, I don't know. Is that asking too much? And I was like, honestly, that's all it takes.
Oh.
Just throw a challenge out my way.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, bitch,
so
watch.
Then I was like, yeah, no problem. At that point, no nerves were in my brain.
Good
I was
for
like,
you.
I live for the challenge. I live for it. So I just did it and I crushed it. And he was like, not bad. And then everybody did it. And then I kind of was like, okay, we didn't hear anything. I was working in Vancouver at the time. So I flew back to Vancouver, came back because we got a callback. And I was like, okay, another callback. Let's go. And this time, it was just more across the floor stuff, more routines. This was also a crazy thing because it was just like men and women that were just doing this. It was insane. And they kept me and they kept keeping me. And eventually I kind of felt like I was probably going to get it because at one point I was doing all the lifts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were like, they weren't asking anybody else to do the lifts. They were like, well,
so they were
like, we need to see if this girl can do the lifts. Can you do the lift with them? Can you do the lift with them? Can you do the lift with them? And I was like,
Yeah, I can do the little that.
my body was literally breaking at this point, but I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
they're like, are you okay? I'm like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll do another back tuck right now.
Whatever
Yeah.
you need. Whatever you
What do
need.
you want?
What do you want? I got it. So much pain. We do it. I spent all day doing this, like dance call after dance call, and this is another ruthless one. This time they actually do know your names because like they sent out this email being like, if you made it this far, you were in the few. Please make sure to bring your A game. People from Disney and Broadway are coming.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay. So we bring our thing, we do it, crush it. It's a full day of dancing. I feel great about it. Go back to Vancouver. They're not telling you like, oh yeah, like there's gonna be more rounds. There's gonna be more rounds. So I think it's always gonna be done. Back in Vancouver working, and then they're like, we do need you to come one more time. And I was like,
And how many days has this been, or weeks?
this has been 2 weeks. So it was like every Tuesday, Friday is kind of how it worked out for me.
Got it.
And then I was back in Vancouver for the one, then back here, and I had to clarify because I had to miss work again for this one. I was
Right.
like,
I was just,
is this the last time? And they're like, yes, this will be the last time. If you make it past this, you know, this is the final audition.
yeah, and that's so tough when you're like, because you don't want to lose your everyday job.
Totally.
But like you also don't, I feel so weird. I'm like, hey, so like, is this the last audition? Because I do have, and there is that expectation where like you should give up everything for your
to do this.
audition.
I was working at a theater at the time. I was doing Guys and Dolls out in Vancouver, so they were really like they knew what a big opportunity this was. They're like, you have to go.
Oh, that's great.
So that was good, but it was like I was paying for this. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like,
Of course.
I can't keep. And I was coming in the night before, getting a hotel, and then so it was like it was just like it was just always a thing. Anyways, to the final audition, and then that's when they asked me to sing, kind of, and things were good for that. I did some Simba stuff there, and that was great. And then the thing that I figured I probably got it was after right before I did my singing stuff. Before I did my singing stuff, I was kind of nervous to go in. I had done some dancing things for them, and as the choreographer was leaving, she was like, "Oh, great! Actually, there's one more thing that I just want to make sure you know." And it was like she said something about like, just stretch this, work this, and you have a couple of months to get this ready. Do you know what I mean? Like, prepare your body for this. And I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. Sure. I hadn't even done my audition for like the producer people yet. Like, they see my dance call, but they hadn't seen me do my singing stuff. And she's like, yeah, these are the things to just make sure that you're stretched and ready to go because you will be doing stuff like this. And I was like, amazing. Oh. And then I did my final audition, flew back to Vancouver, and the next day I got the job.
Did that give you more confidence, like going into that last audition, being like, oh, I think I might have this?
Totally. And the thing that threw me off as well is I was like, at the final audition, I met a few people, and I kind of went in being like, if we're making to the finals, this has to be a formality. Do you know what I mean? Like, at this point, everybody in the finals must get the job, right? Like, why would they waste their time?
And it was like everybody kind of was there for a different, there were different roles.
Everybody was like, you didn't know what everyone was doing. We had to do a dance combo that at this point was like, I did it with like 2 other people.
Right.
And then the singing was by myself. And so then, yeah, like it was just...
Did everyone from that final, did anyone get cut from that? Do you remember? They did.
They did. And I was keeping up with a few friends that I had made on the journey, and I just assumed, because I found out the next day that I got it.
Wow.
And they were like, so have you heard anything? And I was like, oh shit. And I lied because I didn't feel good about being like, yeah.
That's a good example of a good white lie.
I lied. I was like, I didn't hear anything. Have you? And they're like, no. And then I had a couple other friends be like, did you hear? And I was like, I could tell when they
that they
me
were
that
saying
they had heard. So I was like, yes, I did. And they were like, oh, somebody. So that was great. And then there was a handful of people that like didn't get it, even though they flew in 4 or 5 times to do this audition and then didn't get it. And that actually really hurt me because I was like, you think you're so close.
So close. And you, as an actor, you've obviously been there.
We've all been there.
So, yeah.
And it's like, painful. Like people struggle to bring themselves back from that.
It's true. Like, especially when you get so far in, like sometimes the first round, if you don't hear back, it's kind of like, well, that's another one,
Truly.
for the books. But then you do 2, 3, 4, 5 auditions. Yeah. Oh, you'd be really invested by then.
And there's always the occasional show that you try to tell yourself not to get,
Oh, yeah.
Don't be so
If you have to tell yourself that.
It's always the ones that you want so bad that you don't get, and the ones you're like, oh, I thought I was okay that you get.
You get it 100% of the time.
I would love to have an audition where someone's like, hey, like what exactly happened to you before the third one, being like, oh, you're going to need to do this a lot in the show. I once did a commercial in the U.S. where the director told me, hey, you're going to be able to buy a house. Like, being like, this thing is going to air. This is a monster. Congrats. He like shook my hand. He's like, congrats. And I was like, oh my God, this changed my life. We shot the commercial, shot radio ads. It was for a Taco Bell product. And I won't say what it was or anything like that, but they ended up not doing the product. So I didn't get any. I definitely didn't buy a house. I just got paid for the day.
No residuals, no.
Like a little bit. It was like a couple $100 every 3 months while they decided whether they were going to air the product or not. But I was like banking on this thing, but it was almost worse in the end because I was like expecting like a windfall amount of money. Mm-hmm. So it was almost like, I would love if it helped you. It was a weird situation where like, hey, you're rich.
Yeah. Like, and then it's like,
nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, too many.
But I would love going into the final round of like, hey, hope you like being jacked on steroids because you just booked this Marvel movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, honestly, yes.
Yeah.
I would love that.
And they're the best. So relieving. Like you said, you knowing like the confidence to do that in the last round, thinking like, I think I might have this.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like, but then, doubt always like that night when I was flying back to Vancouver, I was like going over every single thing they said in the room, being like, you didn't do this, but you did this, or like maybe put, I was like, no, they hated me. You convince yourself that you're like they decided to waste their time and see me.
It never goes away. I think that imposter. Alexa and I talked about it.
I still do it at rehearsals. Yeah. I still have it at rehearsals. Like when
of
was
course.
That story I was telling you when I was like did the number and I was like, I am so sorry about what that was, and she was speechless. The choreographer was genuinely speechless at how terrible I was, and I was like, and then I did it again and it was right, but like. That moment, I thought I was going to throw myself off a bridge. I was like, this can't be who I am. This cannot be who I am.
I once worked with an actor who was on, I won't say who it is, but he's a friend of mine now, but he's been on House of Cards, been on Mr. Robot, worked on everything with like major Academy Award winners, and we shot a scene, and right after that, he was like, to the director, he's like, hey, sorry, man, I suck. I fucking suck. And like went back and apologized, and it was like an epiphany for me being like, holy shit, it never goes away.
It never goes away.
Yeah. You can be in all
imposter syndrome, never goes away.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just part of it.
Yeah. It just can't, you can't let it stop you. Like,
Yeah, Deborah, who was on Jann with us, we talked about it a little bit with her.
She's brilliant.
Like, she's brilliant.
She's been around the block. She knows what she's doing.
And she was talking about imposter syndrome, and she like still she's worked so much. She's so great, so talented, been in the industry for forever, and still she gets imposter syndrome. Yeah.
You have to wonder why we do what we do.
I know, right? Like what's
it's
wrong
not
with
like
us?
It's like easy, we're glamorous, we're cool. Like it's like
sometimes glamorous, very.
Speak for yourselves. I'm so cool, guys.
Right.
Backwards hat.
Yeah,
you're right.
So,
yeah.
this is like kind of a segment away from Lion King. This is going off on a tangent. But when you were auditioning for Jann, how many auditions did you do?
Not many, actually.
Not many?
That one was like,
It was one and done?
I honestly think it was.
Amazing.
Maybe a callback?
Wow. Yeah.
One and done's the best though, because
One and done is
it's
the
already
best.
done. It's
Yeah, I'm
done.
like, oh, really?
I honestly think it might have been one. Like, it was a long audition scene or a couple that I had to do. And I don't think I even realized that it would be like for such a big role on the show.
No.
Because I did it and I was like, I'm going to Turks and Caicos like tomorrow.
It
so
was
I gotta
one
get
of
this
the things
down.
where you're like, I did it. I don't know.
Truly,
if I'm
like
gonna...
I just like sent it off.
Yeah.
I worked with like Coach on it or whatever, which I do for most of my auditions. And then she was like, "Yeah, this is great." And I was like, "Great." Throwing
Yeah.
it into the abyss, like
oh
all
my
my
gosh,
other self
yes,
tapes.
we
do you
say
know what I
that
mean?
too. We're throwing it into the
Exactly
into the
where I
abyss.
don't hear most things. And
Yeah.
then I remember I was in Turks and Caicos, and my agent was like, "Would you be able to come back for the show?" Like, and I was like, "No." And then she called me and she's like, "Do you realize what this is?" And I was like, "No."
No.
But like, I'm not going to come back for like another 3 weeks. So like, I don't know. And she's like, "You booked this part, which is a big deal. You will make a lot of money on this. You need to come back for this." And I was like,
You can buy more Turks and Caicos vacations.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? She's like, you need to come back for this. And I didn't understand it until she said it in those terms. I'm like, I thought it was like a day player role or whatever.
yeah.
And she was like, no. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll come back.
Okay, I'll book
Yeah,
a flight now.
I'll come home. I'm from Turks and Caicos, so it wasn't like I was like,
Oh, okay.
I wasn't like at a resort or whatever. I was just home relaxing, being like, I'm
Gotcha.
going to take some time for me.
Wow, oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, then I was like, oh yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back and do this fitting.
It's a good attitude. Like if you could do everything, like the
Yeah.
confidence of like, I don't care, I'm going on a flight to the beautiful tropics tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like then it's like that's when you start booking and doing the work, like good
100%.
stuff.
Always.
Totally free, right?
There's so many. I have so many stories about that where I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this until someone's like, you don't understand the significance of this, and I'm like, you're right.
And then if you did know, you might have been nervous. Like it's
Yeah,
like,
nervous.
yeah.
I
Who
might have
knows?
been like, you're right. Maybe you should read those breakdowns way better. I am guilty of that. Being
Yeah,
like,
me
read the
too.
character description, good to go. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can't look at casting director or director or anybody attached to the project. Otherwise, if I notice the name and I admire the person, it changes. Yeah.
It changes it.
Yeah.
But I have friends who are like, no, you need to know the casting director. You need to know this because this is how you tailor it. If you're doing Hallmark, you always shave. If you, and I was like,
That's
all
different.
true. That's
but
all
like,
true. That's all true.
yeah.
Yeah,
like-
there's a certain point of like coming somewhat prepared, but not so prepared that you're like, oh my god, I've seen everything they ever did.
Yeah.
yeah.
I need
yeah.
this because that's the thirstiness that like will hurt yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, we might deliver one word differently and be like, this is it. You know what I mean? When realistically, the director is looking at it and they probably knew within 5 minutes whether or not you got that word.
Oh,
right
within
or
like
not.
35 seconds, whether or
Like-
not you were even in contention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 It's like, it's crazy the things that we worry about being like, this one line, I didn't believe it. And you're like, they don't care. Do you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
don't know what, they don't, like, it doesn't
Yeah, they don't
matter.
have it as memorized as you at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not, it's just so crazy to me what we stress out about
Oh yeah, for sure.
perfectionists.
So, we like to ask a couple questions in between stories. Maybe poke a couple holes if we can.
Do it.
To see. Okay, we're very confident. We're just
Do it.
like,
Well, we also
"Go
know
ahead."
he was in the is in the
He
Lion
is
King,
in
so
the
it's
line,
like
so that kind of makes
there's
me
grounded
feel like,
in truth at least. If this is
Yeah.
all a lie,
okay,
It's weird to be like, I feel like I'm like did something wrong. It's crazy. It's like,
You're
oh,
on the
you're
spot
right.
now. We
Yes,
shine a
please,
spotlight
please,
on
please.
you.
Come on, hit me.
Okay. There were a lot of great details, like very particular
I
details.
sometimes talk too much, though. That's
No. It does make it difficult because it was very believable. Like you had these people complaining outside. You had all your like naming kind of like the dances you were doing.
and like the
What
bag,
number were
like is
you?
the bag true? Did that like the revenge of him actually booking it eventually after carrying around the Lion King bag,
Yeah.
or was that just bullshit you threw in to win our trust?
Win our hearts.
good bullshit.
Yeah, it could be.
It's pretty good bullshit, especially because you don't have it anymore. That's convenient.
He didn't bring it today.
Wow.
I don't have it. He maybe get rid of it.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, shit.
Unless
I
it
will
was
be able
never
to get a
there.
new Lion King bag once we get to the theater
Yeah.
because there will be merch.
Woo!
And I think I get 20% off, which I was like, okay, we could do more.
20% off. So this is
Yeah, you'd think you'd get a tote bag or something.
Yeah.
I'm just
Come
gonna
on.
take this.
Yeah. I'm stealing all of the wardrobe for the
I'll
night.
be
take
stealing this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Do you remember the number you were given?
I think it was like 2. Nope.
No.
Nope. 2. No, I don't.
Oh, no,
And I only
okay.
and the number changed.
And okay.
It was like the first group, and then when I got my callbacks, I didn't have numbers anymore.
Oh, okay.
I had like internal numbers, but they used my name.
But they use your name after
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay.
I don't remember the first one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you have any questions?
Flew a couple times. Is Luck Be a Lady really from Guys and Dolls?
Yes.
Huh? He knows. So
Do you know Nicholas?
I actually saw a Vancouver production of Guys and Dolls once upon a
Was
time.
it like this year? 'Cause I was in
No, I wish. This was a long time ago because I'm from BC. So like this was like when I lived
it.
there.
Luck be a lady.
But maybe around. Yeah, so he knows that. Checks out.
If I
Checks
didn't
out.
know that, that'd been like the story's not
That
true.
gives it
He's
away.
a liar.
The story's not
This
true.
is a fucking lie. All that was bullshit.
Yeah. He would have known that. It's all a lie.
He would have known if he was a real. Can I ask, when did you start dancing? Like, did you go to, and did you do gymnastics also?
Yeah, I did a little bit of gymnastics. I started gymnastics, to be honest, and then it
Okay.
just got too hard, to be completely honest.
They start making you try and make you competitive pretty young.
Well, it's just the discipline of it. Like my parents put me in it when I was maybe 10, and like I liked it, but then I was like, this is too aggressive. Like I was
Yeah.
going like at a point 5 times a week, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. Which sometimes I wish I stayed with it longer, but I switched to dance way faster, and it was more so because I was getting into musical theater. I was
okay.
like, I like this more.
Did you go to a high school that had musical theater?
Yes, but I didn't do it there.
Oh, okay.
I did it elsewhere. I never did it in school.
Okay. Do you remember the songs that you sung for your auditions?
Yeah. I sang More Than Anyone by Gavin DeGraw. Please tell me you know Gavin DeGraw.
I don't want to be.
Yeah, that's Gavin DeGraw. That's Gavin DeGraw. And then they made me sing Endless Night for Simba.
Wow.
Because I am a Simba cover.
Simba cover. Okay. Is that song just for the musical?
Endless Night, yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's not in
Yeah, not in the movie.
it's
I
not
know.
in the movie.
You actually, Alex, had to sing for your Jann audition.
I did have to sing for my Jann audition.
Really?
And Jann was in there with me, and I was so
What did you
nervous.
what scene have you ever sung in the show?
I think there was one point where she was kind of playing guitar and we sang together.
Maybe they weren't sure because it was so early on in season
Yeah,
one.
I think
maybe
they
they
were
didn't know where your
still-
character was going
Who's
to
gonna
go.
go?
Yeah.
I definitely did not have to sing for that audition.
Yeah.
Do you remember what song you sang?
I sang a Spice Girl song, and then Jann asked me to sing Happy Birthday, and that's when I kind of thought I fucked up because I was like, oh my gosh, she's asking
Happy
me to
birthday,
sing
you
something.
can't get wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And she was like, oh, I can really, you can really tell a range and everything from singing Happy Birthday. So
She's someone who I don't know if has imposter syndrome. I don't know if she does.
I think she does, but she's like so good at. I feel maybe she did like when she was, because I feel like she has kind of talked a little bit about that when she was younger, but now I think she's.
We'll have to have her on the show.
Jann,
Have her
come
on
on
the
my show,
Come on the show.
please.
Come on the show. I had the number one question I got asked was like, "Is she really like that in real life?" Did you get to ask that?
Yeah.
all the time?
Oh, yeah. Like, was she?
And I was like, "No, this character is like an actual psychopath." Like,
Yeah. Like, no. I mean, she's definitely hilarious, and a lot of like almost all of the like stories in the episodes are based off like real experiences, but they're very changed.
they're very heightened.
Yeah. Very heightened. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, let's hear the second tale.
Let's hear this second. Spin your second story.
My second story. So yes, as I said, I'm from Turks and Caicos. I have a house down there. I live, like, I go down like twice a year. Like, it's like I'm very, very Turks and Islander. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes people are like, "Oh, I'm from Turks and Caicos," and it's like my grandparents are from there, and I never actually go there. I'm like, no. It's like my second home is where I grew up, and it does feel like home. So last year I was this story. I don't know what I would title it, but I would call it like I feel like I was cursed.
Whoa, that's juicy.
Wow.
In a weird way. Because I was going down and I did this really beautiful trip where we kind of went to the Bahamas first because I have some family in the Bahamas I hadn't seen in a long time, so we did that whole trip there, and then we went to Turks and Caicos, which is that's the normal part. I never go to the Bahamas, but I go to Turks and Caicos all the time, so that was like we're just going there to relax. And I had a friend who is from Toronto who I met we went for dinner on the way down to the Bahamas, and I was like, and then I'm going to Turks and Caicos, and she was just having a hard time, and I was like, do you want to just come to Turks and Caicos with us? It's like a flight from here. It's like 4 hours. Like you can just get on one flight.
From the
You can
Bahamas to Turks and
Wow.
Caicos?
No, from here.
Oh, from Toronto.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
really?
from Toronto. Yeah,
Oh.
so we met because my niece is with us. We spend the night in a hotel because she can't do 2 flights in one day because she just freaks out. So whenever I do a layover in Toronto, I just meet up with a friend for dinner, and she was just having a rough time. And I was like, you should just get on a plane. I'm going to be in the Bahamas for like a week, but then after that, I'm going to be in Turks and Caicos for 2 weeks. So you should just come down for a couple of days. You can stay at my house. It'll be fine. And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then eventually she was like, I am sad. I'm going to do that. So she did. And this was like a couple of nights into us hanging out. And we had a great day. We went out for this really nice dinner. Me and my whole family. It was my brother, my sister-in-law, my niece. My mom lives down there too. And me and my friend. We went for this nice dinner. Then we went to this thing called Fish Fry, which is like this...
I went to one in Barbados this year.
Yes, exactly. Barbados has one.
Yeah.
And so it's like basically like a bunch of like local vendors bring food and there's music and there's people that sell their stuff and you can kind of go and get a taste of like local island stuff. It's great. Nice. I go often when I'm there because the food is so good. We did that. Like we had been drinking a lot, like from the day in the pool to dinner to fish fry. Like we were always had a drink in our hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we got back. My sister-in-law put my niece down and my brother's like, you know what? We should go have a fire. Like, why not? We never get out there to have a fire. And so in my backyard, we have like the pool. And then there's like this, you go down to the terrace and there's like this, like in between the two palm trees, there's a circle couch with like a fireplace.
Nice.
And so I was like, yes, like, we'll pop a bottle of wine. We'll go out there. And I always get a little nervous going to this one particular part of the house because it's outside and I hate bugs.
Oh,
I hate spiders. I hate crawlies. Like, I'm not good with that stuff. And it's nighttime, and you can't see anything. And we're gonna be sitting on these things. Great, it's like a great sitting area that a normal person who doesn't care about bugs would be like, "This is great."
Yeah.
And so then we get the wine glasses out. My brother turns the fire on. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But I do this thing where I check every seat before, like I throw the cushion off because I don't know what's underneath there, just so I can sit down and feel good. So I did that with each one, and I swear to you, every single one that I moved, something moved. And I was like, this is why I don't sit out here at nighttime. Do you know what I mean? And like these were just like small little things or whatever, spiders, whatever.
Yeah. Are there any poisonous spiders?
Nothing.
Okay.
Originally, like there's nothing. Like when I grew up there, we had nothing that could kill you there. Like the snakes were small, the spiders were small, and if they were bigger, they were not dangerous.
Yeah, nothing.
But now, because of all the importing and stuff like that, of trees and stuff like that, we do have tarantulas, we do have huntsman spiders, we do have like black widows, we do have those things that like are there, but we never had them growing up. And it was like, that's so frustrating to me. But like they're all there now and they're thriving. So
all the scary
they're
things.
living
all
it
the
up.
scary things there are thriving. I would still say like the chances of you dying from something, being bitten by something, is like slim to none.
Yeah, yeah.
I would be surprised because they just aren't in the public areas.
Right,
but,
right.
Anyways, we're sitting there. I'm a little uncomfortable because like I always just feel like, you know that feeling when you're like, there's something moving around me. So I'm like, I'm always sensitive to things on my body.
Yeah, well, especially when you're out there and you know you're sitting on a chair that has...
That I did check.
Yeah.
I did check. And I'm
Doesn't
like,
matter.
this area is safe for me in this moment. I can't speak about what will happen in 5 minutes, but at this time, it is a safe space for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sober. I'm not. None of us are sober at this point, but like we're having a great time. And it's like so relaxing out there. And I swear there's something on my leg. I can feel it. But I'm like, Tanaj, you were being... This is textbook. This is me being crazy. And I was like, there's nothing on your leg. And so I kind of like move my leg. And then something, I swear, goes up my leg. And I'm freaking out. And I stop it like this. And there was something in my pants. And it was here. It was in my pants. It went up my pants. It was in my pants. And I was like, you guys are something. And nobody believed me. But I was like, until I caught it, I was like, there's something in my pants. Something in my pants. And I was like, what do I do? I'm not going to squish it against my leg. And like, I don't think anything will bite me. But if it does, that's going to suck to have it under there. So I'm like, oh, and I'm like trying to be calm because like you can feel, I felt it like when I like brushed it, it like went higher. And so I like pushed it down. And I pulled it down and I pushed it out. And this giant roach that was probably like this big just like scurried away. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done with being outside. I'm done. And everyone's like, we didn't believe you. We did not believe you that this would be in your pants. Do you know what I mean? And I was like,
pants.
Factually, let's go. We're done. We're done. It's like 2 in the morning.
Inside too is a nightmare.
Inside. It went
That's
in
such a nightmare.
and up. And I had to pull it out. Roaches can't hurt you, but like...
But they're
do I
disgusting.
want them on me? Absolutely.
No.
I once had a snake on me. And
Like
it was a
that
similar...
you didn't expect? Like
Yeah. I was posing for a picture off the coast of Vancouver Island, being all cool, like doing one of these, like posting with like, my hand on my chin and like trying to look really cool. I'm like 17 years old.
Amazing.
And I'm on this like grassy field. and I look down, and there's a snake on my lap. And I let out a noise. It was similar to Tanaj crying at the Lion King the first time. Because the noise I let out was like, woo! Like it sounded like a ghost getting scared or something, like an octave I'd never been in. And I just
tried battle.
I stood up so quickly as I made that noise, and the snake just fell off, and I like jumped off the hill into the sand, and I was like, snake, snake.
Oh.
So yeah, exactly. It's not even that the animal is necessarily so terrifying, even though I don't really love snakes. It's the surprise of them being on your pants.
It shouldn't be
Completely
on you.
related.
I like. It's one thing if someone's like, here's a roach.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Put this down your pants. Like it's often offered to everybody.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I was like, we're done. The night's finished. It's 1:30. Like it was late in the night. Like
Yeah.
I was like, we don't need to be out here anymore. Like we're all drunk. Let's just go. Let's
Yeah,
just go to bed.
we're out.
You kicked sand on the fire, just turn it off.
It's like an electric fire thing. So
Yeah,
we just like
you
turn it
just-
off. We had all polished off like a bottle of wine each at this point. Like we were like, let's just go to bed. So I was like, okay, great. So my siblings go up to their room, and they're upstairs. My friend Justine's downstairs, and then I go back to my room. I have my own bathroom upstairs. So I was like, okay, getting ready for bed. And it's nighttime, obviously. So I go in, and I'm like brushing my teeth, and I'm like walking around, and I'm not wearing any clothes. I have my boxers are on or anything like that. And I'm like, I go into the shower, which has a window here, and it's like, so there's like, because it's nighttime, I can see the reflection behind me. And so I look in, I'm like brushing my teeth in the window, and I'm like, what is that? And I turn around, and there's this big fucking spider, the size of my hand, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe a little smaller, in the corner of the room. I'm getting chills. In the corner, like it would be up there looking at me, and it's almost like this exact figuration. You can't see this on the thing, but it's like it's right. The spider's in the corner, and I saw it in the reflection, and I wanted to throw up, and the door's beneath it. So I'm like, I did not know what to do with myself because it was the biggest spider I had ever seen in the wild, and it was in my house, in my bathroom, over the door that I had to do to flee.
Yeah.
Don't have my phone, can't call for help. I'm just sitting there. My niece is sleeping 2 feet that way.
Yeah.
I was like, I honestly did not know what to do in the situation. It's an 11-foot ceiling, so it's not like I can just reach up and kill it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, and so I finally was like, okay, I have to do something. I can't just sit in this bathroom for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to run past it. But I'm like, I didn't know if it was, I'd never seen that spider before. So I was like, if it moves fast, I'm done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I got to open this door. But the thing is, I have to be quick about this because if I lose this spider, I will never sleep again. I will never be okay. I will never be okay in this house.
Oh my God.
Because if it's this big, where the hell has it been? What has it been thriving on?
It's
in
been
my
in
house
there the whole time. Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I finally work up the nerve to like, it's in the corner, sashay through the door. I get through the door, and I'm like, I have seconds because if I need to get this before it dead. So I run into my brother and sister-in-law's room, trying to be respectful because you know what I mean. You don't want to just open a couple's door and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Do you know what I mean? So I'm like knocking, being like, I'm coming in, everybody, I'm coming in. Like, they're both asleep, and then my sister-in-law was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, there's a massive spider in the bedroom. I'm like, I finally got to my phone. I texted my friend downstairs, being like, 911, get upstairs immediately.
911.
911.
Get upstairs immediately. So then we go in, and then my sister-in-law's like, what? I'm like, I would not wake you up if it wasn't an emergency. I promise you.
It's an emergency.
You need to wake up, and we all need to deal with this now. And my brother was like, yeah. And to this day doesn't know what I was talking about because he was just like, he just was acknowledging it, but not awake.
Yeah.
And then finally he wakes up because like my sister-in-law is like, what are you talking about? She comes out and she looks up and she sees it and she loses her mind. And then runs into and wakes Tarek up. She's like, we're all getting on this. My friend comes up. She's like, what are you talking about? Goes in, sees the spider in the corner. Everyone's at a 10 out of 10. Like, we're all like, what do we do? My sister-in-law was like, okay, there's spider spray in the corner, but we have to seal off all the entrances. So we put a towel down to make sure that it can't, like, scoot out of the house somewhere. Do you know what I mean? My niece is sleeping right there, so we can't all scream like we want to scream. It's this whole production. Everyone's up. Everyone's, like, stressed. So we get this spider spray. We put a towel down, and it's just me and my brother in the bathroom.
Oh, my gosh.
Then Brittany and Justine are out there with, like, they have, like, a towel thing that they're like, if it comes out, somehow we'll try to kill it. Mm-hmm. But, like, we're not prepared for this. So
we are not prepared for this.
Tarek has the plunger, and I have the spray. And I was like, okay, I'm going to spray it. And then when it moves, you have to plunge it. And so and I'm like, and I, once again, like, I'm like, if this runs, like, if it's like not like a slow spider, but like a, you know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? So I spray it and I'm freaking out. I'm like spraying it and it starts to like move and then it falls and it's like dangling and it's so big. And then my brother like just like smacks it with the
It's like a piñata with a baseball bat.
Basically just like beating this thing with a plunger. My niece is sleeping 5 seconds that way. And we finally kill it, which feels amazing. And I'm like, I'm the kind of person when I kill a spider, I rip it to pieces.
Yeah, you're like, there's
You're worried
no,
it's a
like...
zombie, can come back from
Well,
the
like,
dead?
you know, some people like, they just like touch it and they're like, oh, it's dead. And you know how spiders play dead or whatever? I'm like, not going to be me. I rip it apart.
Yeah, you're like,
it.
you're dead.
And I don't feel safe with my life. Nobody feels good. I'm like, I'm supposed to go to bed now? What the hell? I'm sober at this point. It feels like I am. So everyone's like, okay, crisis averted. Everyone's checking every corner of every house, being like, are we going to have to deal with another one of these massive ass spiders? Finally calm down. I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I can go to bed. And so I like go to bed and I get into bed and I like lay up. There's not the same spider, a different spider that's only about this big. But still.
But regardless.
Like, there's a painting above my thing and it's just there. And I was like,
You could see it hiding behind the painting?
No, it was in the painting. So like the painting had like a shelf and then the glass thing. So it was like in it.
Oh my God.
And it was like, I was like, what the? I was so upset. That one seemed like it was like not a big one.
Yeah.
But it was like.
I'm living in Spider House.
Exactly. And we like, it's a Caribbean, but we get our house sprayed quarterly. So it's like not supposed to be an issue. And I killed it. And then I never really felt like I went to sleep. Like, and to this day, whenever I go back to my house, I look up in that corner because I'm always like, I can't be played like this again.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You're checking every corner. You've got your spray by the bed.
And I just felt like I was like, those 3 things all happened in the same night within probably 2 hours. And I was like, that had some kind of
sign.
witch doctor thing.
You were
Do you know what I
cursed.
mean? Like that. Yeah, I was like, it was a night that I won't never forget.
The cockroach in the pants,
The spider was way worse. I'm telling you, the spider was way worse. Cockroach, I was stressed out about.
Stressed.
But I moved past. The spider, I still struggle with.
I had a cockroach like jump out at me in Thailand when we were traveling from the sink. Like I forget.
It jumped?
It like, okay, it felt like it jumped at me. I maybe my memory is skewed, but it was in the sink area and it like crawled out of it. It crawled out of the drain really fast. I'm like, and I screamed so loud. I woke Ian up. Woke Ian's uncle up, who was sleeping. Like he came in. He's like, "Was that you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, there was a cockroach there." And then like you said, how you check the corner. At my parents' house, we have this sliding door in the basement, and in my mind, I had always like had this nightmare because we had. Have you ever seen like the centipedes or millipedes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were really prevalent in my basement. I don't know why, but they just were. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if there's one hiding up there? So I always would stand back when I would open the sliding door.
Smart.
And one day,
there was one.
One day, I'm like, ooh, if I had walked under, he would have fallen on my head.
This is why you do it.
This is why you
always
do it.
I will always check that corner from now on.
Just
I
in
check
case.
most corners, to be honest.
I mean, you have to.
You have to.
You have to.
You saying that your niece was asleep and we can't scream like we want to scream is like a kind of a perfect title for the times we're living in right now. Yeah. We can't scream like we want to scream.
Like I need to
yeah,
scream.
Exactly.
And she to this day, she doesn't know about it.
Wow.
Wow.
Silently killing spiders.
This would be a great like TV episode. This would be like perfect scene with like the silent like terror of the
killing the biggest spider in the world while being quiet
and killing it. You have to plunge it.
Yeah, that's all we had in the bank. That's all we had in the bathroom. We had to use a plunger and the spider spray that we got from downstairs.
And the spider spray, of course, but still perfect. Okay.
Wow.
I thought you were gonna say, and we sprayed it, and all these little babies crawled off its back.
Oh, wow. You were ready for more and more bugs with the curse.
Well, because the huntsman spiders,
they carry them. I think, and the wolf spiders too. They carry them on the back of their butts.
Wolf spiders, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I thought you were gonna say
and
that.
I'm not a person who can handle spiders. Like that little one was stressful to me. The big one was Armageddon. Like it was.
I've never seen a spider that big. That's a lie. I've seen a dock spider one time. And they're huge and they're horrifying.
I've heard of dock spiders.
They're
here.
Yeah, they're here.
Yeah, I've got some right now. Here, I'll show you guys. Just in my hands the entire podcast.
You need one of these?
It's my tote bag. It just shows a spider on it.
No, yeah, that was so terrifying. It was like, yeah, the size of the palm of my hand. I was like, I never even knew something like that existed in Canada because I've only ever seen like the small sort of like house spiders.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was like, I thought this has come up from hell.
We're never ready for them.
No,
you know?
never.
Especially in my house. My house is my safe place. You know what I mean? I'm just like, that's not.
Yeah, you're here on vacation and these bugs crawling up your pants, no consent, just up there.
No consent.
Not in your house.
That's the biggest problem with all this story. These bugs, they're taking too much.
They're taking
really
too
are.
much.
They don't care about
in
us.
your house.
They don't care about us.
Didn't even, no
How long had that
gift,
thing
no
been in there?
hello. Yeah.
How long had that thing been in there?
Unless this whole story's a lie.
Unless it's all a lie.
Unless it's all a lie.
That's true. You got me.
You're
I thought,
wow, I trusted
like, damn, here I was trusting you, and then I just
sharing your own
remembered.
bug stories, but forgetting that we're on a show where our guests come in and lie to us.
Which is true.
50% of the time. One of these
50% of the
stories is
time.
not true.
50% of the time. That's so true.
Yeah, and I'm gullible as hell, as you can see. So, okay.
How does this work now? Do you just accuse me?
Yeah, now we're going to poke some more holes.
We try to
Alright.
poke a couple holes, and then Alexa and I can't decide. We often sometimes fight. Not really a fight. We just scream at each other.
Start beating each other
But
up.
we don't always come to a consensus on which one we think is the lie.
Yeah,
right.
usually we're split. Okay.
I feel like I'm...
What kind of pants were you wearing?
Great question. I had my Lululemons on. They were like these black long pants that had like a zipper, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That was quick. That was another quick answer.
Okay, where in the first story does the story begin? Like, is the director who hated you with the tote bag, is that all part of the story?
No, it's not. That director hated me like 10 years before that.
Okay, so that's fact.
That's
no matter
just my
what.
like journey to the Lion King to show how much I loved it, and then didn't think I was worthy of it, and then
So
Yeah.
the lie or the story, the truth of it begins of like you flying to Toronto and doing all these auditions.
I mean, I guess I don't know. It could be anywhere,
Wow.
Okay.
right? It could be anywhere, right? Isn't that the point?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
You're right. As soon as he walked in the room, maybe
this water is for you, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Is it always easy to decipher the lie, or is it never
I don't know.
easy?
I don't think it's ever really that easy.
It's never easy. Like I feel like we've both been wrong too. Like,
But yeah, no, I've definitely not. I've probably been wrong the past like 2-3 times, I would say. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm lying. Ooh.
yeah. Well, when I first said, because a friend of mine who lives in Barbados, that's why I was there in the fish fry. I was shocked by how far that is, because it's almost by Brazil. Because he has to go to the Dominican, and he said it's like a 3-hour flight, and I would have thought. So then when I was like a 4-hour flight from the Bahamas to,
No,
it's
from
like
the Bahamas,
it's
like
really
an hour.
close, right? Yeah,
No.
yeah. So that all checks out. All his facts check out.
Damn.
So they.
Okay.
But even if that one wasn't the truth, that wouldn't have put a hole in the rest of the story. would it?
No, I'm poking for any holes I can get at this point.
We're doing whatever we can.
I can't
Okay.
tell at all. I have no idea. I think. Well, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Audience, please put in your guesses. If you're on YouTube, please comment down below. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you just say your answer in your mind or out loud.
Yeah,
to
if you're at the
whoever's
gym on the
around.
treadmill,
Yeah,
just take out an
just
AirPod.
yell it. Just scream it.
Yeah, no one will be
Story A
shocked.
or story B.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I have my guess. Do you want to go first? Or
No, I
me
want you to go
first?
first this time.
Okay. I think the second story is a lie.
Okay.
See, the thing is, we know he's in the line.
I know. That's why I'm like.
So maybe
is
it's
that
a
too obvious?
twist. So that's why I'm like,
No, don't say that. I already said my
I'm
answer.
gonna think the first story is a lie, and maybe we find out he got the part a different way
Okay.
or something.
That's your official guess.
Official guest, first
All
story
right.
lie. You say second.
I say second. Okay. Drum roll. And big reveal.
The first story was a lie.
Oh,
The first story was a lie. Yeah.
Damn.
The first one. I don't dance at all. Oh my god. At all.
is that true?
It's
You
so
don't
true.
dance at all?
Like, I was even thinking when you said, "Oh, it's a back tuck," I was like, "Is that a thing?"
Oh my god! I was thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, that's got to be a back flip, but I don't know enough about dance.
I'm
I
No,
think
I'm
it's
like-
called a back tuck, but honestly,
I
was
think
like,
you were right, though.
I thought that's the first time that I was like, "That's when they're gonna figure it out." Because I'm like, I hesitated too. I was like, "A back."
So the stretching over the leg, all bullshit.
Oh bullshit. Yeah.
What?
Oh bullshit. Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
dance at all.
shooketh.
Like, I don't dance at all.
You don't
I can't
dance
imagine
at
going to... not at all. Like, I can't imagine going... Like, I do, like, I'm a mover, but, like, the way these people in Lion King dance couldn't be me.
Couldn't be you.
Couldn't be
So
me.
the number 6, all that.
Oh, that's a lie.
Wow, because I got it right technically, but that's not what I thought was the like. I thought that's so. Wait, did I get it right?
I don't think you did.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you
Did
said the first
I said
one
the first one was a lie, but no,
You
I
did,
did.
you got it.
But I
Yeah,
didn't think that
I
you were not a
didn't.
dancer or anything. Like I thought it was like going to be maybe you had. Wow, a full on. I feel right and wrong at the same time.
I know. I still feel duped.
The second one was like the second story is true. That happened to me and that was awful.
Wow.
All in the same night. That was terrible. But yeah, the first one, like I a lot of it was true. Like the bag story is true.
A director did hate you and make fun of your
hate
bag.
me, and he did make fun of my bag, and that's why I stopped carrying my bag, which is like very sad. And my friend reminded me of that because I kind of put that all the way in my brain, and then they sent me a picture of me at the Lion King by myself crying, and they're like, "Full circle moment that you booked this," and I was like,
So how did you book it?
Yeah, what's the real story?
The real
now?
story is similar. Like I did fly back
Yeah.
and forth a bunch, but I auditioned for the role of Simba, so I was like, there's no dancing that goes with that.
Oh, okay.
And it's like very separate. So like I'm ensembles, I'm a singer ensemble, and there's dancing ensembles. So I never did a dance call. I did like a movement call that was like pretty difficult, but not. I could do
not-
that.
yeah,
It was
okay.
not like flipping like what they do in this. Like people
Wow.
flip and like all this stuff. I can't do any of that. So that story that I told you was actually from my friend Wade. His audition story was that. He
With
told
the
me about that.
the sticking the backflip and the confidence and
He did all
wow.
that. He did that.
Wow.
that.
Okay. Stolen from Wade.
Stolen from Wade. Wade's a great person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So mine was just like I just had to sing a bunch of different stuff, and I had to do a bunch of scenes and acting and
Right.
stuff like that. I did all that side of it.
Wow.
Did you really sing Gavin DeGraw?
I did.
Were you really in Guys and Dolls?
Yes.
Okay. Was Luck Be a Lady really in Guys and Dolls? Okay, I don't know what's real or
It's
true
all
anymore.
making sense.
Oh
now.
my
Yes. All that
gosh.
was true. All that was true. Just none of the dance stuff. None of the dance stuff. Yeah. But it was
All right.
interesting because I thought maybe that was too obvious of a tactic. So I'm like,
No, you got me, because then I was like, well, maybe that is the trick, is that it's so obvious, and then I
Yeah,
was
but
But
like,
nothing
reaction
seemed fake
always
about
is
it.
like-
nothing. Yeah,
I
they
was
were
just.
both.
It was like when you're playing rock paper scissors, and you're like, my friend just put paper, and then I'm putting scissors, so I got to put rock. I was trying to do triple math. chess.
Yeah,
yeah.
When
But
it was-
your logic was what mine was, where I was like, I'm in the Lion King, so they would know that I probably. They would. The obvious lie would be the spider story, but then that's too obvious, so then they would go back to the Lion King.
Right. It was good. You got me.
It
You
was good. You
split the
got me.
judges.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
The judges.
Yeah.
the mental gymnastics that I did didn't pan out for me.
You didn't stick
It
your mental gymnastic backflip.
That didn't stick the mental
You didn't
back
stick it.
tuck.
Next
Yeah.
time,
Back tuck.
stick it. I don't know. Sometimes, like I've been realizing this with my directional sense. I was just in London, and it's just this happened to me all the time. And now, even getting here, anytime I think, oh yeah, I'll just go this way, I always need to go the opposite way. Every
You're
single
like
time.
wherever your
And I
inner
started
compass
testing it.
points, you're like
Go
I'm
the
going the
opposite.
opposite.
And like I started testing that theory out when I was in London because I was like, I should probably just go here, and I'm like, well, then that means you should go this way. And every time it worked. Every
Really?
time.
You were wrong
100% of the
every time.
Every time that I was like, I just waited for my gut to be like, yeah, go this way. And I was like, great, then we're going this way. And it worked 1,000 times.
So when Alexa asked you on the show, you're like, I don't want to do that. No, I got to do it now. Because
Gotta
it
do
was
it.
exact your intuition.
More so just directions, but yeah, it's just directions. And it happened to me today, but I didn't trust my instinct because I was like getting lost at the Kipling station. I was like, maybe this way. I was like, okay, so I went this way, and I had to go the opposite way.
So it's 50-50. You
amazing.
like our guesses.
Oh my
guesses.
gosh, that was so good. I was so invested.
There was
I
no
really
real
thought
truth,
just
though.
both
Gotta
were
feel
true,
bad.
and I was like, well, he's just telling truthful
He
stories.
forgot
Maybe.
that one's supposed
Yeah,
to be a lie.
Was I
He
supposed to
forgot
lie?
he's supposed to lie.
Like, all that stuff about me going to Lion King as well and loving it and crying, all that. Was
All that.
What about
okay.
the angry white people outside?
real?
Real. See?
Real.
And Wade heard that, or you heard that?
Wade heard that. I wasn't
Wow.
Wade would have recognized me as that angry white guy. Yeah, you've been here. Yeah,
there.
you've
Watch
been here.
this. He'd be
Yeah.
like, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
Oh my god,
guy.
he's there.
Yeah.
No, I also cannot dance at all in my life, so I would
Well,
not.
to the
be-
level that they do on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. I can't do it at the level that anyone's doing it. Yeah.
Like I in rehearsals watching the dancers, it's like I'm like it's the most spectacular thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Like they're all crazy talented.
Yeah.
And like so casual, they're like, ugh, missed that flip, and you're like,
Yeah, I mean, whoa.
what? And like their legs are always like, it's just it's wild. It's wild to watch them do what they do.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
You should.
I want to go,
Come.
especially now that when I saw that you were going to be in it, I was like, oh my god, well, I gotta fucking go now.
Trust me, you won't be disappointed. I
yeah.
promise you.
And I
promise.
hear you're
Mercy.
comping all of our listeners?
They only give me 20% off of
Yeah,
the merch.
Dope,
Yeah,
baby.
so that gives
They're
you an
not going to give me
idea.
any tickets.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, you have time. You have time. I think we run until April as of right now.
Wow.
We're we're hoping to get extended, but tickets are available until April. So.
Oh my! And you're in every show.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, good. I don't want to like buy a ticket and then.
Sometimes I'm
you're
playing
not
Simba.
there.
Sometimes I'm just in the ensemble. But
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, good. So if I buy a ticket, I'm pretty safe to say that
I will be
see
there
you.
unless I'm wildly ill and won't be there.
You're gonna see me in the audience go, "Woo! I'm here."
Yeah. But you'll hear me just weeping the whole time.
Yeah, and it's
so
You
the
want
music
to
is-
do it.
Yeah.
You don't want to stay with her because you want to just feel it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go alone.
Go
in the middle.
the gasping, crying.
Yeah. If it sounds like a snake is on my lap, they're killing it. Yeah.
Could be part of our props.
Oh.
No, there's animals.
Yeah.
Tons of animals.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. I feel like I remember also the costumes were like so amazing. Like that was.
We haven't even seen them all, and the stuff that we're working with in the rehearsal hall is crazy.
Still.
And when do you guys open?
November 10th officially.
November 10th.
Wow.
We start performances start November 2nd, but November 10th is our official opening date where the show will be ours at that point.
Oh my god.
So buy your tickets now, people.
Buy your tickets now.
I hope to see you there.
Tickets available. Woo! Oh my gosh, those were such amazing stories.
Thank you.
I truly just thought that you were telling the truth the whole time. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure. I had a great time. You guys
Yeah, I mean, and it's been so long since we've seen each other. Like, wow, like
I think we even
3?
missed each other on the Christmas special because we were in.
Yeah, but I don't think nobody
never
was
filmed
really on
together.
at the same
Yeah.
time. I think I saw Elena, and then that was it.
I think I saw Deb. And that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw Jann, obviously.
Jann was there. She was there for all of it.
She was there for all of it. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I know. So, oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see Tanaj in Lion King, tickets available. They are linked below. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Steal My Story. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.